Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Caller here, and hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back. The Eagles have lost against the Chargers. Congrats on y'all's win. I'm a little salty. So, what better way to get rid of my pent-up anger, besides make a Wizard101 video? Now, this time we are going to be talking about, drumroll, the extra credit program. Yay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's just fast forward a little bit back in time and get you caught up to speed about what the extra credit program is. Before we do that, as always, this isn't a personal attack. I know how cliche that sounds. Don't bully anyone. This is just clear observations I've seen over the years from the community, and quite frankly, it seems like this program just ought to be shut down. I mean, it just seems like there really isn't enough resources, or at least time to management. It was a good run. Maybe bring it back in a couple of years when there's a little bit more resources for it, but we'll give you a little bit of a synopsis about it. So now we got all that stuff out of the way. Let's talk about it. I mean, they haven't even updated this page since November of 2024. And the latest objective was to pick any game NPC and make content about why you appreciate them and what you find useful or interesting about them and how they can help players progress the wizards. It really is a great segue because I have a lot of stuff written down about this program. But a little bit about me. I had joined this, I think, around 2022-ish. I'm not sure about the specific timeline. I don't know if it was 2023 when I joined or 2022. I can't remember, but it was under the leadership of a previous community manager. It had very mundane tasks, as we literally just talked about, with a lot of lackluster rewards. The rewards just didn't seem fun at all. In the beginning, you would get crowns with your code because it was, I guess, one of the processes of having the code work. I mean, I don't know how King's Isle Entertainment technology works. They're still kind of living in 2008, to be fair. I don't know why. But that's just the stuff that we got. So we would get like 2,500 crowns with some reward like energy elixirs or pet elixirs or whatever it was. But yeah, the rewards, seemed kind of like, eh. Like it was like all right, it's cool free stuff, but at the same time, especially for a program that's pretty much dead now, it just kind of seems like you could live without it in a sense. Also heavily fake. It seemed like a lot of people had to put on an act. Obviously they didn't want people that were too overly negative about the game or like heavily criticize the game. You had to be all smiley face and rainbows and everything. You couldn't really critique it as much. I mean, you could do critiques, but in a sense, you couldn't just like go off the rails. It was definitely heavily monitored, in a sense. But yeah, it kind of incorporates like a corporate shill, in a sense. No bad mouthing, pretty much. A little bit of favoritism here and there. That's subjective. It is what it is. The best reward I personally have gotten was a full year of membership, and that is a bonus reward that you would get if you were consistently doing the extra credit programs. If you look through my videos, I've done the extra credit programs I think every month all the way up until December or something like that. And yeah, but it was cool. It gave me something to do. It gave me content to do. I mean, I didn't talk in the server as much. I was already in my own WizTuber Discord server, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was a cool attempt at a content creator server, but at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of fell off to me. It probably fell off to a lot of people, right? I left around the geographic table discussion. We talked about the Nightmare Dungeon, badges not giving rewards. Then they gave badges rewards. The Nightmare Dungeon launched in challenge mode. It was a whole thing. Nobody wanted to traverse through the mazes and the broken dreams. I know how much people hate it when I talk about that dungeon, but I can't stress it enough that that is one of the worst dungeons I personally have played. Not just because it's hard. I've done it in challenge mode, which is extra hard. If you don't know what challenge mode is for that dungeon, it's timed. So that was extra hard, right? I just didn't like it because of how inaccessible it felt. You had to do it a couple of times to even craft the gear, the badge, which it still is a thing. Badge lock the gear is still a thing, even with Darkmoor. Darkmoor has its own issues, but we already talked about that many a times. I mean, at this point, it's kind of up to the game developers. I feel like we say this a lot, but it's up to them to figure out what they want to do with the game. There's going to be a lot of directions where a lot of people don't like this direction, a lot of people don't like this direction, a lot of people don't like that direction, you know? It's up to them. But personally, for me, I will never, and I'm kind of glad that we have Darkmoor now, because I'm pretty sure that dungeon is pretty much dead. There's no reason to farm the Nightmare Dungeon at all, unless you want the badges or some other cool stuff, but in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. Alright, let's keep it going. I also still have the green badge, but I hardly wear it because it removes the guild name off of your character. So right now, I'll show you real quick. Let me swap screens, but this is what the badges look like now. So it's a regular badge, right? I got the Beat the Gamers from the Cabal raid. Make sure to join our guild. But then, if you wanted to get the green badge, obviously this had to be a thing where the game developers had to log in, you know, same server as you or whatever. They had to do the little game developer magic and set it aside. Now that I think about it, this is probably gonna be one of the rarest badges in the game. Like, this badge might really be one of the rarest badges in the game. Not only does it glow green, obviously that's cool, but also they're probably not even gonna give this badge out anymore. But I don't wear it a lot because there's so many other cool badges, and everybody always asks me, Richard, your name's green. Wow, who are you? I've heard stories, some people get harassed with these badges, so yeah, I'll just put on something like Storm Wolf Warrior 2, and I'll call it a day. There's also other stories of people that apparently had these stripped away, but we'll get into that very, very soon. But yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. I don't usually wear it. You'll see some people wear it from time to time, but yeah, I think that badge is pretty much just going to be like a legacy item at that point. Like, only a few content creators or people that participated in getting those, like, are going to be able to get those. So, who knows? I don't know. Alright, so let's go back to what we were talking about. I mean, we don't really have to show this old webpage anymore. We kind of just go on with the notes. That was basically the main synopsis of the Extra Credit program. Just a server full of content creators to do these elementary school tasks, you know? The overview over the years, it kind of died out with the new community managers. Most people had already left for multiple reasons. They stopped taking in invitees also. And apparently they had a new pact system, which was in place in the Extra Credit program, but I don't really got much data on that. I don't really got much info. I just know that there's nothing really happening in the server anymore. So, I don't know. Just kind of seems like it's done, fizzled out, which is fair because obviously that's when we had the new community manager, because the previous one had left, or quote unquote left during that debacle. And obviously it is a lot of hard work. I think the problem that we're seeing a lot, though, with the community managers, and I don't know if it's just a King's Isle Incorporation policy that they can't receive help from the community whatsoever, right? And that's where we go into the individual concerns from all over the spiral, talking about everything that's been going on with not only the Extra Credit program, but also just everything community-wide, which is a lot. And there's probably still more issues out there. Probably still a lot more I missed. But if you know, you know. So here we go. I got a whole list here. So over here, shouldn't take that long. So individual concerns from all over the spiral. We got one individual that left the program due to someone being toxic in the program. I don't know what that means. They never really elaborated on who the person was. They just kind of left and kept on a tirade of why they left the program and why it sucked. I have no idea. They just kind of upped and left. I don't know. Like I don't know like what. I wasn't even in the server by then. It wasn't me. So I don't know who they were talking about. I had left that server ages ago. A lot of people still think, like my viewers still think that I'm in the extra credit program. I left that years ago. Why do people still keep saying that? So yeah, that had happened. I don't know who was toxic. I mean, toxic could be a lot of things. I'm toxic. I wasn't in the server though, but like, I don't know. Like what, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Apparently this person was also part of like a fan site or something like that. So it also kind of sucked that they kind of took a hiatus. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. One individual was removed from the program due to a lack of content, which was false. This person was heavily consistent on live streams and publishing videos. And it just kind of felt like a scapegoat to kind of just remove people that criticize the game, right? And this person is known for criticizing the game because we all love this game. I criticize this game 24/7. I'm criticizing it right now. But then if you get removed for it, then I don't know, just kind of leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And apparently they also had their green badge stripped as well. Apparently somehow KI has the technology to do that. I don't know how, but maybe they aren't living in 2008. Maybe they're living in like 2010. Maybe 2010. Maybe. Okay. Multiple player concerns with moderators for Pirate101. That's a recent one. I don't know what's going on there. That still has yet to be resolved. I mean, they tried to resolve it. I mean, the Pirate101 server just lost a lot of people. They've either been unfairly kicked or they just upped and left because they didn't like how the moderators were moderating the server. And of course, those still moderators are still kind of around. And again, I don't know if it's King's Isle policy to have the same moderators 24/7. As I've said multiple times, I think it would be cool if they rotate moderators. Like maybe have some moderator applications go out, just, you know, see who's a little bit better. Well, I wouldn't say better, that's a little bit mean. Let's just say, you know, just rotate it, you know? Just I don't know. You know, and that kind of goes back to the whole extra credit program. Like if this is too much work for the company, and rightfully so, it probably is, especially to have all the load on one person, then it might be best to either put more resources into that, or better yet, don't even have a Pirate101 Discord server. Like, honestly, just make a mega server. Actually, that would be worse. Don't do that. That would be worse. Don't make a mega server. That would be terrible. Don't do that. But again, you know, if it's getting to that point, then it might be time to reconsider. And understandably, these community managers, they are people too. They're people like me. They have emotions. They have feelings, right? You can't just expect them to do everything 24/7. Till this day, I still don't blame even the new ones for all the stuff. Even though I've heard negative stuff from them, I'm still not gonna blame them because, to be fair, it is the Wizard101 community. Let's be honest, we're kind of all crazy. But at the same time, if it gets to the point where it's too much to handle, then it might be worth looking at like more resources into that environment. I don't know. the thing about Kings Isle, and again, I don't know if it's company policy, but you can only work there if you live in Texas. Like, you literally have to work at. I can name you so many people that would be so awesome community managers. That would be awesome, but they can't do it because they gotta live in Texas. And I also heard that the pay is terrible too. So again, I don't know. Maybe there needs to be more resources. I have no idea. Personally, with me, I would never want to be a community manager for this game. I've dealt with some of y'all in my raiding group before. Some of y'all drive me nuts. I would not want to be bothered with y'all. And I have a short fuse. I have a very short trigger. Like, tip me a little bit off my teacup and I will crash out. I've crashed out before a lot on this channel. I'm sure you guys have seen it. But getting back on topic, that's probably one of the bigger ones right there, is about the whole moderation situation. So we'll still just gonna have to wait and find out. I've actually heard that the community has also made their own little Pirate101 Discord server, right? And I can't stress it enough how well we as a community do a lot of things. I remember when, you know, obviously during a lot of, well, still is very sensitive times, obviously KI was very selective on the charities they would want to do, right? It was a very it's still, and like I said, still is a sensitive time. But I remember the community came together and we did the Palestine fundraiser. That was really cool. I really loved that, and I'm so glad the community did that. That was really cool. So going back to what I was saying, right? One individual was removed from the program and had their membership removed due to baseless transphobic comments before allowing them to even get a chance to explain. That was also another sucky one, right? That one didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. You can just kick people out without even hearing them explain or hear the end of the story. That sucks. If you have that in a program, basically someone can say that you said something which you probably didn't, and you can easily get kicked out. Do you know how terrible that is in a server? In a content creator? Do you know how bad that is? And I'm not a guy for numbers, but that's terrible. Who would want to ever not only not play the game, but also be associated with the community? That's terrible. In my opinion, that's awful. I think that's probably one of the worst ones out there. They can just easily do that for no reason. And I've heard many of stories like that. It just sucks. That's terrible. People can just say whatever they want, and you easily get, it only takes 3 seconds to kick, and boom, you're out. Like, I didn't even do nothing. That's terrible. So again, there have been many issues, not just about the extra credit program, but in the community in general. These are these issues, right? One individual who heavily helped with the extra credit program was pushed aside. It was kind of made false promises, right? They said like, oh, you know, we don't need any moderators here, and they still got moderators in that server. So yeah, again, with it's hard. It's hard, and I wouldn't want to be a community manager either, but I don't know. When you have someone that's been helping with the program for a long time, that's basically one of the backbones of it, and then now we're seeing this collapse, is really, really sad. It's really depressing. I don't know. And again, I don't know if it's Kings Isle policy. At this point, I'm starting to think that they don't want the community to help them out. That's what I'm starting to think. Maybe they're really, really specific about that. Like, oh, we just can't have, like, outside sources into our safe spaces. Oh, clutch your pearls. Ah! I don't know. I don't know where it goes down at KI. I don't know the rules. I don't know. I would love for them to help me kind of understand why this has happened and why all these things have happened, but okay. One individual has an amazing giveaway event planned and wanted to repost to spread attention, but was replied with a no. And again, I don't know if it's KI policy. I don't know. I don't know. Dude, maybe it's just, they probably got like a weird policy. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, I originally wasn't even, oh wait, do I got more stuff? Yeah, I got more stuff. Hang on. Okay, I'll tell you at the end. Hang on. I still got more stuff. Still cooking. I told you it was a long list. Multiple individuals report that the community managers don't reply to direct messages. You know, obviously that's a given. Multiple individuals have stated favoritism with the community, mostly stemming from collaborations or picks, just like the spell teasers. Usually it's like the same people doing the spell teasers. So maybe next year they could kind of split it up. I personally don't want to do a spell teaser. I don't want nothing to do with KI. Nope. Keep me out of it. I don't want to do it. Just let me be in my own safe bubble, just like y'all get to stay in your own safe bubbles. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. No tables for me, bro. No tables for me. Get out of here. But I would love to see kind of some smaller WizTubers get a chance to also get, like I said, that chance to kind of reveal some cool spells, or at least get some recognition or acknowledgement. And hey, maybe some women. I was like, where the women at? I feel like we gotta give some credit to the female WizTubers in this community. They get harassed so often for no reason. They're treated so harshly in this community. I hate it. All right, so going down over here, one individual was removed from the program due to a hack and then was asked for a request to join back. There was still no response. So again, we talk about there's no direct messages being replied to, and it just kind of seems like the, you know, extra credit program just kind of fizzled out. I don't know. Now I can say what I was going to say, and this had happened way, way back, and I wasn't even in the extra credit program when this had happened. But do you guys remember when they had the whole raid key exploit? No, it wasn't even an exploit. This is just KI being super lazy and not double checking everything before they send stuff to the live realm. But basically, raid keys only costed like 1 Azoth. And I was tipsy, and I decided to just make like a whole bunch of raid keys just to show y'all in the video. Be like, yeah guys, this is the game. We call it Beta 101. This is what we call it. Then I get a message from that previous community manager saying like, hey Richard, being tipsy and all and doing an exploit, that's not really status quo, Keep in mind, I was not in the program. I had left that ages ago. I was not in there. Like, leave me alone, bro. This is my channel. I'll do whatever I want. I'll curse whenever I want. I'll make a slur if I ever want. No slurs. No slurs. We'll keep that for the private party chats. Actually, I don't even slur in the private party chats, honestly. Maybe back in middle school. I was an edgy middle schooler kid. But you get the point. It's my channel. Leave me alone. I don't represent y'all. I'm not y'all's mascot. Leave me alone. Go bother somebody else. Like, they had to say something. They just had to say something. Like, hey, Richard, we didn't like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. I really could care less. Like, I'm too busy to care. I really don't care. Okay, you do your thing as a quote-unquote community manager, and I'll do my thing as a content creator, which is to obviously provide entertainment for y'all. By the way, I'll drink whenever I want, bro. Yo, what? I'll tell you, there's been a lot of references in Wizard101 that are subjective. Okay, I could go, oh man, I could dig up some dirt, bro. Nah, I ain't gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that, nah. Because I don't want this to be a ragging video for Wizard101 or KI or Pirate101. I think what the community wants it's just something a little bit better. You know, it just seems like over the years it's been really sad and depressing to see. You know, obviously Wizard101 isn't going to die anytime soon. It's not dead. They had a great launch on console. Obviously, console players didn't get the 12 days of the Spiral promotion, which sucks, which also means they don't get a free membership. Sorry, console players, y'all took an L on that. But, you know, it is kind of sad to see how much the company has changed over time. I will definitely say this, ever since the Gamingo acquisition, it has progressively gotten worse. It has not been getting better. It's just been getting worse. Because every time it looks like it has been getting better, they take a step forward, and then they take 5 steps back. And at that point, you're all the way still at the starting line because you keep taking step backs. And that's what's sad. I think that's why a lot of people are sad and don't want to play this game anymore. Not just because of the content updates, but most likely just because they can't resonate with the community or the company anymore. You know, I mentioned all of these individual issues. These people have a reason not to play this game, especially when you have been treated like absolute garbage. That is terrible. Now, a little bit about my prestigious WizTuber server that I had made all the way back. Ah, man, when did the first raid come out? Ah, man, it's been so long. It was the Dragon Spire raid. I cannot tell you how long it has been. I am super old. I have terrible memory. But I think that was still probably one of the best decisions I've ever done. Not just on this channel, but in like real life. That was really daunting because personally for me, when I did that, I did not know a single person, right? A lot of people may have known me as like the free code guy, the news guy, right? And I made a tweet talking about like, hey, it would be cool to have like a content creator raid, right? And obviously the hardest part of that would be rejection. I would ask people, some people were kind of MIA or they didn't respond or they said no. You know, I took that risk, got 11 players, and we did it. Obviously, we didn't do much because we didn't know what a raid was and like all the mechanics and all that stuff. Obviously, now we know how to raid. I did the nullity 50 times. I've done that raid, or at least completed it 50 times. I got the badge to show it, and I don't want y'all to be like, Richard doesn't have a badge. I will show you the Nullifierist defeat the nullity in the Voracious Void raid 50 times. I've done it 58 times, right? And to this day, I don't care what anybody say. I don't care what y'all raid heads say. I don't care what y'all PvP heads say. That will always be the best raid in my opinion in terms of easy understanding, accessibility, and loot drops. In my opinion, I don't care what any of y'all say. Y'all want to leave a comment, go for it. The Ghastly raid I will put in second place because for 8 players, and it is also a little bit more accessible. Obviously, you still gotta be a high level to really contribute much. A little bit, but I will put that in second place. I'll put the Polaris raid in third place, right? I will put Azteca in the last place. That was one of the worst raids. I will never, man, I'm never gonna win that raid, bro. I think it's a canon event that I never defeat Hunhow. I think it's just a canon event. But moving on to what I said, making that WizTuber server was the best. And I'm so glad to have met all of these nice, awesome people. These are some really cool people. Not just that play Wizard101, but they draw Wizard101. Like, that's cool. I love artists. They do so many awesome stuff. We have someone in there that does music. All right, please check out Growling Panda. If anyone deserves recognition, it is her. All right, Growling Panda. I will leave a link in the description. Check her out. She definitely deserves it. But I see all these amazing people. It's cool. No matter how many subscribers they got, everybody gets an invite. I haven't done any invites this year because obviously I've been busy farming for ages for a circle mending jewel, which KI, please, please, for everything that is holy, please make this circle jewel craftable. Why is it not craftable? I will pistol whip someone. Please make it craftable, dude. It should not be this hard to get this jewel. But they won't do it. They just won't do it. But like I said, check out Growling Panda. Now, going back to what I said about the WizTuber server that I am personally in, it's a private server, right? Each and every one in my server is a validated content creator, right? Now, obviously, you shouldn't use it as like validation, right? Like, oh, if I'm not in the server, I'm gonna delete my channel. Like, no, don't do that. But if you're in it, just know that people recognize you as that, you know? And there's no favoritism. Everybody gets an invite no matter how small y'all are, right? Just people who love the game and who love to make content for it. And let me reiterate, not if you made a Wizard101 video 10 years ago and then you never made one ever again. Okay, like maybe like 3 months or something like that. But like, dude, some people don't even play the game anymore. Some people left. Some people like often left. They don't play Wizard101. Life got hard or life got busy. Some people getting married. Some people getting babies. You know, people just got busy. People don't play the game anymore. And quite frankly, Wizard101 is a boring game anyway, right? It's boring. Nobody wants to farm for gear every single world. It's boring. People got stuff to do. Also, there's no silly tasks in this server whatsoever. You're free to do whatever you want, as long as you don't purposely look for trouble. Now, I have to specify this because, my gosh, I have had these incidents happen before. Now, as in trouble, I mean, but not in the following, right? There could be more stuff, but as long as you're chill, you're fine with me. But if you're looking for some trouble, hombre, we're gonna have a problem. It only takes 2 seconds to get the boot, okay? And quite frankly, I will not care. Alright? Especially if a good majority of people say nope, then y'all out. Hostile takeover. Okay? Trouble as in overly negative towards your peers. We have had that before. A predator. Yeah, that was a new one this year. We had that happen. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I just booted them out. They didn't say anything, so good riddance. That was fun. Yeah, that was... Yeah, it's the Wizard101 and Pirate101 community, y'all. Yeah, I told y'all, y'all crazy out there, bro. Someone who has used a crown code an infinite amount of times and obviously not telling anyone, which is obviously probably the biggest exploit I have heard in this game in a very long time. And to why KI even created a infinite crown code to begin with, I have no idea why. Obviously, that person has went away. We gave him the boot. Or any personal attacks or attention seeking for any sort of altercation. We're not saying drama because we're all adults. Okay? I hate when people say the word drama. It makes me sound like a middle schooler. Like, ugh, stop using that word. It makes it sound so cringy. Like, ugh. Just say you guys have a problem with each other and then just leave. Right? And quite frankly, I don't care what anyone says. And I'll keep it a buck. I don't watch Wizard101 like YouTube, maybe from time to time. But most of the time, I'm using YouTube just to listen to music and stuff like that. Like, I don't, and again, that's why I don't want to be a community manager or would want to even be a community manager. I would not want to be that heavily involved. No, none of that. But if you get down all that list and you're pretty chill and you're, you know, I wouldn't say normal, but if you're happy or you're at least decent, then you're definitely allowed in my server. Now, I haven't done, like I said, I haven't done any invites this year. I really wanted to, but, you know, this year has just been kind of, I guess, kind of weird in a sense. Maybe I'll wait until like the extra credit program fully like gets deleted, and maybe I'll make like a little role called like extra credit refugees. So if you're someone from the extra credit program and you feel like that, you know, it's kind of a dead server, or you know, you don't feel like you're being recognized, then, you know, feel free to direct message me and I'll see what I can do. I'll do a little profile inspection to make sure you're not some random viewer, obviously. And then I'll make your own custom role, and yeah, we'll have fun. Another thing about the WizTuber server, we don't only play Wizard101. Like, we already did the Wizard101 Guild, which the Frenzy Gamer did. Huge shout out to him. We got deposited a lot of A's off, so that would be a nice place to do the content creator raids. But we also play Repo. I gotta get back to play that. We just play Among Us as well. Lethal Company, we've done that as well. We play a lot of other games just outside of Wizard101. I don't want anybody to think that Wizard101 has to be your personality trait, because quite frankly, that's cringy. I want you to be yourself, okay? But yeah, that is all I have to say about the extra credit program slash community discussion. At least that's all I have to say. In my opinion, though, for KI, it might be worth looking into investing in a little bit more community management resources. Because again, like I said, this isn't to rag on the managers, obviously. They're doing the best they can, but they are also human as well. They go through emotions just like us. Alright? I don't want this to be like a personal attack for them, but there are just some things that could be worked on and potentially even be helped on with the community. But I don't know if it's KI's policy to have direct involvement with the community. They might be very, very, very strict about that. I don't know, like, what they do. I do know that you gotta live in Texas to get a job, obviously. That's one of their things I know. But for the most part, I don't really know, like, what they want to do on that side, right? And that's just a couple of issues. The only thing we can hope is that it just gets better over time. That's the main hope. But if it doesn't, then oh well, they tried. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. There's a lot of things in this game that I wish we could have, but apparently it will just never see the light of day, like the treasure card vault. It is what it is. It just will not happen regardless. I want a 5th potion slot. That would be cool. It is what it is, you know, it won't happen. I want more energy than the base cap at level 130. Why did they stop giving us energy? It is what it is, oh well. I want them to make the flawless mending opal a craftable jewel. I don't know why, but it is what it is. It will never happen. So, again, a lot of things, and that might be for the extra credit program. I would love to see the extra credit program thrive, be a little bit better, be a little bit more active, but it might be one of these cases where it is what it is, and sadly we might not see that happen at all anymore. It just might fizzle out, and until everybody leaves, it's just gonna be a husk. So I don't know, it's up to KI to figure that out. I don't work there. I'm just a dude that watches football games and plays PlayStation, and you know, and drink beer. Like, I don't I don't know how else to help KI with that. I've said it in the video. They're gonna have to figure that out themselves. For starters, maybe getting into people's good graces, which I'm pretty sure most of the bridges have already been burnt down completely, especially if you're treating people like rotten garbage. So, yeah, it is what it is. My name is Richard Unicorn Call, and I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Hopefully this was a nice video to listen to on the toilet. And yeah, I will see you guys later. We're actually going to be doing a follow-up video to talk about all of the other 12 days of the spiral. I believe it's like day 2 now. So we'll see what happens for today. There's also some bundles that have returned on the website. Make sure to check that out, as well as you know, a bunch of other stuff like crown rewards and all that stuff. If you want to spend money, go for it. But even though I just said all this stuff, I'm not sure if you really would want to spend any money. But until then, y'all, I will see y'all later, and peace out.